I moved here from Silicon Valley a year and a half ago, and I spent 15 years there. And while I was there, I started 2 technology companies. So in the process of doing that, I learned a tremendous amount about what it takes to create a successful working environment for people to come in each and every day and to get their work done, but also to enjoy themselves, to make friends with their colleagues and to activities that is not just work. And I saw this sudden surge in remote working. I was like, I might be able to use all my previous skills, creating successful businesses and obtaining all this knowledge and moving that here. The Empire at Scottdale is trying to fill that need. For folks' mental health, they can't be trapped in apartments or houses all day by themselves, sitting in front of a conference call, talking on Zoom for 8 to 9 hours a day. They need human interaction. I think co-working spaces in general are going to do extremely well across the nation now that we're in a whole new working environment. And businesses like the Empire at Scottdale are going to emerge in order to satisfy the need that this new environment has created. I was on YouTube trying to educate myself on what it takes to do a commercial build out here in Scottdale. Because I've done it previously in other cities, but I know the requirements are very different here. And time again, I keep seeing these videos from WDS Architecture, and it's Mike talking so knowledgeably about every subject that I wanted to learn about. Started watching these videos one after another, and I started to get like a pretty good understanding of what this was going to take for this particular market. Then I decided, hey, maybe I ought to just work with this guy. Like, he's producing all this content. Clearly he knows what he's doing. I'm going to look him up. So I checked out his business, checked out WDS Architecture's website, whatever I could find about them online in terms of reviews. And it was all outstanding. I spoke to Mike straight away. And I just knew, within a few minutes of talking to him, I already knew he had the knowledge, the positive reputation in the market, that we connected well, a very natural rapport. I was like, this is the right person to work with.
I do remember getting the call from Ed. He asked if this was WDS. I said, this is Mike. He said, Mike, I'm watching your videos right now on YouTube. You have half a dozen of them here. They are so good, and I'm looking at purchasing a building right now. I've watched the one on what to do before hiring an architect, what to do when you're getting ready to buy commercial real estate, and that just made me so excited that the value and all the information I was putting out online was actually helping someone. I couldn't take it. I just had to meet him and find out more about this exciting building.
Look, most people are not going to think about hiring an architect right away until they are told by a general contractor that they need a set of drawings to bid from, or the city tells them you need to hire an architect or you need to submit plans. Then they'll start thinking about hiring an architect. When in reality, if you have done building projects in the past, or you become savvy, or you learn about the process, you'll know to hire that architect as soon as possible. Better yet, putting the entire team together and assembling them before you even look at spaces or at land. Putting the correct professionals together, depending on your project, and it may be the commercial real estate broker, it may be the land use attorney, it could be the architect, the contractor, or even the design builder. And that the sooner you do that, the sooner your project is on its way to becoming successful. The way you'll get ahead and the knowledge you'll gain by putting these professionals together early will be answers to the simple questions: is this project going to work the way I think it will? Will the budget and money I've set aside be enough to complete this project? Is the timeline that I'm looking at to open its doors, deliver goods, to hire staff, is this timeline reasonable? Are there things I've not even thought about or picked up on that might exist inside the building? For example, code deficiencies, perhaps items that need to be upgraded or replaced, items that have to do with the infrastructure or are hidden. Assembling the right team ahead of time and early can get you that much further ahead on your project and help it to be that much more successful. With this project, Ed did all the right things and hired all the right people early. First, his real estate broker in helping him locate that building, amongst others, identifying it as it might be one of the proper buildings to try to do what it was he was going for. Bringing in the architect, and so immediately we looked at parking, fire sprinklers, exiting, life safety, occupant load, as well as use from a planning and zoning ordinance standpoint.
This was an art gallery. Back in the 80s, this was existing.
built all of these walls for displaying artwork, then added on with this massive room, then had this crazy residence up above where they lived. So they lived upstairs at the art gallery below. There's a loft. So you don't see buildings like this all the time or get to go into them. So far ahead of its time in the 80s. Wolf appliances. Kitchen you don't have to update. Had this thing for transferring groceries down to the garage. Check this out. Had a crazy bathroom that was so customized. Toilet with a phone in it at that time. Hello, I'm a WDS mic. And then a heater for the steam shower. How cool is that? So we're going to be turning this into, if it closes, we're doing due diligence right now, turn into a co-work, kind of like a WeWork space, where you can have a membership or rent out open office for a day, conference room, have access for a month, let you know how it turns out. We were happy to help Ed in evaluating this building, not only in verifying that it would work for the type of use and business, but more importantly that it would allow him to showcase the vision and destination that he wanted to create there. You might be surprised, but as an architect, we're actually asked quite frequently to do this. Someone will be purchasing a piece of land or considering the lease of a space, and they'll want us to evaluate it for them. Well, there are many ways we can get involved in doing that. So we may conduct an assessment on site, creating a feasibility study. We may do some design and planning where we create conceptual sketches and exhibits. Sometimes it's taking a step in the permitting process, which might involve a pre-application or concept meeting with the city. Oftentimes, we are mostly acting as a liaison to bring contractors into the space or to look at the building, or with our own in-house team as a design builder, so that conceptual and budgetary construction estimate numbers can be put together. This can lead to ongoing consultations where we're asked about items that are brought up as the project further develops and takes shape. Ultimately, interior design and layout might be part of what we do in trying to define finishes and components inside the building. Lastly, we could be looking at energy code, sustainability, even utility infrastructures and how those might be brought into the site once we look beyond the envelope or property lines.
If you watched the video all the way through today, go down below and hit the like button. And don't forget to comment on something you saw here. And lastly, be sure to hit the bell, subscribe so you won't miss future episodes.